Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to my channel. You're on Binge the Republic South Africa, and as the name suggests, everything on this channel is relating to South Africa in some way or form. You'll obviously notice that I've got quite a lot of rugby videos, considering the World Cup is around the corner, but we'd like to mix it up a little bit with some other stuff about South Africa. And you clicked on the thumbnail, so you know why you're here. South African slang is being discussed today. Quick disclaimer, there might be some curse words in here, so please bear with me. Of course, I think swear words are generally the quickest and easiest words to remember in another language, so there might be some in here, but we are going to go through these words, and let's hope you guys learn something. So just a quick point that I'd like to make before we get into it is that these type of words are generally being utilized by majority of South Africans. So we are, in fact, a very diverse group of people, lots of cultures coming together, but most of these words are very universally used. So in all languages, a lot of people use it. So yeah, let's have a look at it. And the first word we are going to be looking at is the word braai. So a braai is generally a barbecue, as the Americans would call it, but it's on an open fire generally, that's simmered down a little bit, and it's got a lot of meat involved, and it's a South African version of said barbecue, and it's fantastic. Taste is awesome, a lot of spices involved. We love our lamb, our steak, and something that we will be discussing a little bit later called boerewors. So a boerewors, as I mentioned, is it's a sausage, a South African sausage with some spices, and it's delicious. So yeah, let's get that out of the way, the food, and let's get to the next point, and that is something called a robot. So we call it a robot in South Africa, but you guys across the pond would really consider it as a traffic light. So when you're actually speaking to a South African and they say, so when you get to the robot, you turn left, then generally they mean when you get to the traffic light, you turn left. So I don't know where it comes from. We're quite silly in our words sometimes for certain things, but we called it a robot and it just stuck, and then, you know, that's what it is. The next word I'm going to be looking at is the word jol. So when you say we went out jolling last night, or we went for a jol, really what you're referring to is you went out for a massive party and it was off to a hook, and you were getting pretty drunk, very likely, and it was just a good time with you and some friends. Okay, so the next word we are going to be looking at is lekker. Okay, so lekker is also pronounced lekker, without the rolling of the R, depending on whether or not you are Afrikaans or English in South Africa, and it really just means nice, awesome, great, perfect, whatever you want to call it. So you can just say that was a lekker jol that I went to last night, and really it was an awesome party that we went to. The next word we're going to be looking at is the word kak. All right, so kak means shit, really, in English. So it was a kak evening last night. So it was a shit evening last night. I had a very kak evening. So I find it quite funny because the Kardashians' company name is KAK. All right, and so we always laugh at it because it is kak. Very shitty. But anyway, so we just laugh about it in the South African climate. The next word I'm looking at is the word biltong. So biltong is like the American version of beef jerky, but generally it's something that you would go and buy at either a biltong deli or a butchery of some kind. I know a lot of people, they go to, let's say, your local supermarkets and they've got a little packets that's being sold there. That's really not the end all and be all of biltong. Biltong is so much more than that. It's actually dried meat, as you would know, with some spices on it in different types of way, different types of dryness. But generally your biltong delis and your butcheries, that's really the place that you want to go for proper biltong. Which leads me to the next one, which is called dry wors. All right, so dry wors is basically boerewors, which is a sausage that's dried out as well. So also very fantastic. It tastes amazing. Between biltong and boerewors, I prefer, or dry wors, I prefer the dry wors, but that's just me. Then the next word, we're seeming to have a trend here in food, is a braaibroodjie. So a braaibroodjie is basically as your name suggests, in the first part of it, a braai. You make this at a braai. So it's basically a sandwich that is generally consisting of tomato, onion, and cheese. A lot of people make some variants with some chutney. Other people put some other stuff on it, but generally those are the staple ingredients. It's tomato, onion, and cheese, some pepper and salt, and you put it on this open fire that you broiled your meat on, and you're basically toasting it on both sides, which is quite awesome in itself, which I love it anyways. Then the next word, once again sticking with food, pap. So this is a bit of quite a different word to play with, because pap can mean a lot of things, but in this case with food, pap is like a maize type substance. It's almost like a porridge, I guess one would call it in proper English, but it's pap. It's made from maize, and generally it's quite fantastic with your braai, with some tomato and onion sauce or relish that you make with it, maybe some salad that you can have with it as well on the side, but really pap and meat, they go together pretty well. Then the next word we're going to look at, and finally we're moving away from these type of words which are relating to food, is boer. So a boer is basically an Afrikaner man or person. It could be a boer, which is somebody that's farming, or it could be referring to just the Afrikaans population in general. So yeah. Then you get your boerierol, or worsrol, what one people would call it, and that really is boerewors on a bun, like a hot dog. So also very nice with some onions and some sauces along that. Then the next one that you will find a lot in a lot of the pubs in South Africa is something called brannas. So brannas is a brandy and coke, basically, in a nutshell, and it's obviously just a shortened version of the word that we like to use. The next word I'm looking at is bring and braai, or bring and braai. Okay, so basically that word means you bring your own stuff to the braai. Okay, so generally if somebody invites you to a bring and braai, you'll bring your own meat and your own drinks. But generally in the South African culture, everything else will be provided when you are invited to a bring and braai. So generally the salads and those type of things would be provided by the hosts, and you would just bring your meat and your drinks. The next word we're looking at is the word chommy. All right, and the word chommy really refers to my buddy, my friend, my pal. It's just somebody that you're close with, and if I would like to say I just went to visit my chommy, all right, that means I just went to visit my friend. The next word I'd like to say is doos. So that guy was being a real doos. Okay, so that word really refers to he was being kind of a prick, right? So, but doos, the direct translation is really box, but with South African colourful language, we can still say a doos is a box, but generally when you say that guy's a doos, what you're referring to is that guy's bit of a prick. All right, then fok. That's my next word, fok. All right, so fok sounds sort of Scottish for fuck. So, and that's exactly what it is. So, so South Africans generally, or the Afrikaans people say fok a lot. It's a power word. You know the meaning of the word fuck, so it's really the same thing. Then the next one that everybody always gets in their, I would say, slang type of videos is the word or words now, and just now. So when you ask somebody, when are you coming? I'm coming now. That means I am coming now. I'm getting up and I'm coming now. When I'm saying I'm coming just now, it's a little bit later. Could be never. And if somebody's saying I'm coming now, then that means in a little while. So that's really something that's unique to South Africans. I don't know of anybody else that's using those words now, and just now. Then another word that a lot of South Africans like to use, mostly in the Afrikaans population, is ja nee. When you and a person is speaking about something and he told you something stressful happened to him or whatever, and the other guy says ja nee. So basically, direct translation means yes, no. So I don't know why we say it like that, but yes, no is really just you're agreeing with the guy. That's really what you're trying to say. Yes, you're agreeing with him. And yes, ja nee. And then another bit of a funny word that we like to use, bietjie baie. So if you'd like to refer to something as a little bit more than it's supposed to be, but not quite a lot, so you say bietjie baie. Bietjie means little, and then baie means a lot. So direct translation would be little a lot, but it's a little bit more than little, and it's less than a lot. So bietjie baie. Then a lot of South Africans, when you tell somebody something just happened last night or this or whatever, a lot of guys would just be like, hectic. So the next word is hectic. Hectic is obviously not an Afrikaans word at all, but it's yet being utilized by us for any type of situation. So you could be like, yes, that guy just pulled away and he was really chasing down that other guy or whatever the scenario may be. And you're like, hectic, bro. So that's just another one, and which leads me to that next word, bro. So bro is really a word that is just meaning brother, bro. It's just generally something that we use in South Africa, bro. But generally, and the guys from the south will hate me for this, it's Jenny in the south of Johannesburg, not so much in certain other areas, but yeah, my bro gets used a lot there. Okay, so that is, I think, what brings us to the end of this specific video clip. I hope this was helpful to you guys. Obviously, you would have seen some photos of examples in the actual area right here. So I'd like to thank you for your time that you guys were tuning in, and I look forward to giving you guys some facts about South Africa in my next video. Guys, have a fantastic evening. Sleep well, be blessed, and stay safe.